YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 ways to increase your protein intake in order to help you improve your body composition, whether it's lose fat, build muscle, whatever it is. Protein is very, very, very important for overall body composition. It's probably, in my opinion, as a coach who coaches real people in real life every single day, probably the most under-consumed macronutrient, but it's also the most important macronutrient. And so in this video, I'm going to give you the top 3 reasons for why it's important, because I think educating you is a very important thing, because the more you know, not only the more you will, the better results you will get, but you'll sustain those results and you'll be more inclined to actually follow the information I'm going to give you here, because you know how important it is. So top 3 things there, and then top 5 tips in order to actually increase your protein intake. So first one is going to be, protein is incredibly satiating, which just means that you are going to be so much more full when you get adequate protein into your diet. Now, what is adequate protein? I would give yourself a range first and foremost. So I would take your goal body weight in pounds and multiply that between 0.8 and 1.2. So let's just say your goal body weight was 180 pounds. You would get anywhere from 145 grams of protein to, I believe, 215 grams of protein. And I didn't just do this off the top of my head. I did it earlier on a calculation, so I'm pretty sure that's the calculation, but you can double check me on that. So again, take your goal body weight in pounds, times it by 0.8 to 1.2. If you're anywhere in between that range, you should be good to go. Now, I would try to push you towards getting more towards that goal body weight in pounds times 0.9/1. So again, if your goal body weight is 180, get somewhere between, call it 160, 150, 160 to 180 grams of protein per day. But either way, as long as you're in that range, you're good to go. And again, like I said, it's the most satiating nutrient. It is going to keep you full. It's going to keep you satisfied, which means you're going to be better able to control your overall calorie intake, which, as we know, or as you should know, your overall calorie intake is what matters most for losing fat, building muscle, so on and so forth. So protein, massively important for that. Second most important thing, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. And basically this just means that to digest protein, your body has to burn more calories in order to digest protein. So if your body has to burn more calories, well, guess what? Your body is going to have a higher metabolism, because the more calories you burn, the higher metabolism you have. So just from eating protein, doing nothing else, just from eating protein, is going to increase your metabolism, so to speak, because you have to you have to burn more calories in order to digest that food. So again, if your goal is to maybe lose some body fat, build some muscle, whatever it is, you're putting the odds in your favor. You're doing everything you can to optimize your nutrition, optimize your journey you are on. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be, protein is the only macronutrient that helps you build and retain lean muscle mass. And once again, lean muscle mass is very important for your metabolism, because the more lean muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism is. This is because the more lean muscle mass you have, muscle mass requires more oxygen to get pumped to it. So the more oxygen your body has to pump, that's more work your body has to do. The more work your body has to do, the more calories your body burns, which, like we just said, is going to increase your metabolism. So protein is vastly important for those 3 reasons when it comes to making body composition changes. I'm not going to go too in-depth anymore. I did an entire video, very in-depth. If you want to check that video out on some of the more things learning about protein, I'll link it here above or something. But those are the top 3 reasons for why protein is so important for your body composition changes. Now, when it comes to the top 5 tips, number 1, we're going to start with something very simple. And I started off with a drawing and there's just no way. I'm an awful artist, so there's just no way. So I just went to words. But first one I tried to draw, which I think is actually a pretty good, accurate depiction. Simply just increase your portion size. It's something so simple, but if you're having, 4 ounces of chicken right now, go to 6 ounces. If you're having, if you're having 2 eggs at breakfast, add 1 more egg and add 3 egg whites. That's going to increase your protein intake by more than double. If you're having, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, make it 1.5 cups. Like, simply just increase your portion size, because you don't have to change anything you're doing. This one's very simple because I like it, because it's simple. You don't have to add anything in. You don't have to do anything crazy. Literally, just take what you're doing right now and do more of it. If you're going out to eat, order double protein. Like for example, if you're going to Chipotle or something, hey, can I get double chicken? Sweet, right there, already adding more protein. If you're doing 1 scoop of a protein powder, do 1.5 scoops or 2 scoops. Again, right there, adding in more protein to your diet just from doing the same exact thing you're already doing. A lot of people struggle with getting that protein number we talked about, but if they just realize that, do the same thing you're doing, just add a bit more. And that's it. That can probably increase your protein intake by anywhere from 20 to 60 grams per day at least. So number 1 is to increase portion sizes. Number 2, I'm just gonna break my window here. The most important meal of the day, breakfast. If you start your day off with, let's just say, 30 grams of protein at breakfast, you are massively, massively ahead of the game. Because think about it. Let's just say that for breakfast, all you have is your coffee. Let's say it's all you have. And then you go, let's just say you wake up at 6, all you have is your coffee, and you go until noon. That's when you have lunch. Let's just say you have 20 grams of protein at lunch. Awesome. Let's say at 3 p.m. you have a snack. Let's just say you have a Greek yogurt and you have some other type of fruit or whatever it is. Awesome. So let's just say that's now, you're at about 35 grams of protein at 3 p.m. 6 p.m. rolls around. 6 p.m., you're going to bed at, just say 10 p.m., you have 35 grams of protein all day. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to hit your protein goal because you didn't get any protein in the morning. Whereas opposed to, let's just say you had 30 grams of protein at breakfast, well now you have 30 grams at breakfast, 20 grams at lunch, and let's just call it 15 at a snack. That's much more protein than as opposed to getting to 6 p.m. only eating 35 grams of protein, which, like we said here, you're probably going to be much more hungry. You're probably much more likely to overeat. You're probably much more likely to not hit your protein goal, which is going to affect your body composition changes, slow down your metabolism, so on and so forth, right? So getting around 30 grams of protein at breakfast, massively, massively beneficial in hitting your protein goal. Now, how can you do this? Millions of ways, honestly. I know some people, some of my clients, for example, they just add in protein powder or, for example, a Premier protein shake to their coffee. So if you are doing coffee, great, keep doing your coffee. I don't drink coffee, but keep doing your coffee, but add a protein powder to it. That right there could get you 20/30 grams. You can make sure, you can make overnight oats, for example. You can do overnight oats with some protein powder and some Greek yogurt, sweet. Or when you wake up in the morning, this is one of my favorite meals of all time, super simple. I just do oatmeal, put it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes, and then I just add protein powder and Greek yogurt. It gives me like 45 grams of protein right there. So I mean, you could start your day like that, like super simple. You could do egg whites / omelet. You could do hard-boiled eggs. You could do anything. There's millions and millions and millions of ways, but getting around 30 grams of protein at breakfast is going to massively, massively benefit you in order to help you get more protein. So that's number 2. Number 3, snack game. A lot of people struggle with getting protein because their snack game is not on point, aka they're not, I can kind of combine this with a different one, but eating protein every single time you eat, I don't care what time of day, I don't care what it is, I don't care what else you're having, have protein every single time of the day. Every single time you put something in your mouth, I don't care if it's an ice cube, put protein powder on the ice cube. That way you're having protein every single time you eat. So snacking, make sure, breakfast, lunch, dinner, people normally tend to have some sort of protein then. And again, you can increase your portion size, so on and so forth. But when it comes to snacks, have some ready-made high-protein snacks. Have things like Greek yogurt, have things like cottage cheese, have things like cheese sticks, have things like beef jerky, have things like tuna packets, have things like protein powders. Have some stuff ready to go for high-protein snacks, man. Have things like deli meat. Like, again, if you want some more ideas on actual foods, I did a whole video on high protein foods, so you can check out that video here above, but I just named a ton right there. But come up with your own list. I would challenge you, come up with your own list and make a list of what your high protein snacks could be, what you enjoy eating, how you can realistically work those into your diet. Have some good high protein snacks. Because again, let's just say you have 30 grams of protein at breakfast, 30 grams of protein at lunch, and 30 grams of protein at dinner, which is possible, but let's say your goal is 145 grams of protein. Well, you're 55 grams short. And let's just say you make that up in your snacks somehow. You have a Greek yogurt here, you have a cottage cheese there, you add a tuna packet there. Easily, right there with those 3 foods, you can get yourself to that 145 gram mark. So Making sure you have your snack game on point, very, very important. That kind of bleeds into my next one, which is going to be break up. You like the heart there? Can you see the heart? You like the heart there? That's my drawing. Break up your protein goal into how many times a day you're going to eat. So for example, if your protein goal is 150 grams per day and you know that you're going to eat 5 times a day, 3 meals and 2 snacks, awesome. At each meal and at each snack, you're gonna have around 30 grams of protein. Now, listen, if you have 40 grams at dinner and 20 grams at a snack, that's still incredible, right? Like you're still gonna get that goal. But the point being, break it down and try to work it into how that's actually gonna look like in your day. Again, I would almost challenge you, like go into your calorie counting app or whatever it is and look at, okay, if I eat 5 times a day and I eat X, Y, and Z foods, how am I gonna hit this protein goal? You break it down into, as opposed to looking at this one big number, break it down into smaller numbers, and then from there, plan out how you're gonna do that. Again, for example, if you know that you can have more protein at lunch and dinner, because you can have, whether it's more meat or you can add in some extra things, whatever it is, awesome, cool. So let's just say you do 30 grams breakfast, 40 grams lunch, 40 grams dinner, and then 20 in your protein, in your 2 snacks. Sweet, awesome, like whatever it is for you. Work that out, write it out, and break it down into smaller goals. That way it's not this one big overwhelming number, and you can actually have a roadmap now of how to get that goal. So many people come to me and don't know what to do and don't know how to hit that goal. It's because they don't have a roadmap. You don't have a plan. Break it down into each meal and then have a plan on how to hit that. So that's number 4. Number 5, help yourself. Oh yeah, so don't tell anybody, I'm a closet lazy person. I swear, I am. I do not like cooking. I don't like making food. I don't like doing any of it. So one of the biggest things that's helped me personally, because I eat upwards of 260 grams of protein per day, one of the biggest things that's helped me, being a closet lazy person, is I utilize things to my advantage that are going to help me make sure I'm on top of my protein game. Number 1 is going to be protein powders, and again, if you want more of like what protein powder I recommend, go watch that video I talked about. It should be in the high protein foods. Go watch that video. But second, and more importantly, using things like, for example, an air fryer and a pressure cooker. I do not like cooking, and I like to think I'm kind of busy, you know, whether it's clients or YouTube videos or whatever it is, and I don't want to take time to cook, as you probably don't either. And so for me, you know, if I use my pressure cooker, for example, I put like a whole packet of chicken breast in my pressure cooker, put some seasoning on it, press 3 buttons. It takes 27 minutes to cook. Go over, do some work, do some emails, come right back, and it's done. Same thing with the air fryer, for example. I'm going to put some fucking seasoning on it. I'm gonna put it in the air fryer, click 3 buttons, do some emails, fold laundry, or whatever it is, come back, it's done. I don't have to do anything with it. It's super simple. It takes out the work for me because I don't wanna do the work. And so make things easier on yourself. Like if you know that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are very busy, okay, use that air fryer for either those days and or just cook ahead of time. Like for me, for example, right now, I always have food in my fridge. There's always some sort of cooked protein ready to go. Right now it's steak and chicken. Those are normally my 2 big ones. I also do salmon and sometimes shrimp, which shrimp is, by the way, a great protein source, very low calorie as well. But there's always stuff in there. So when it comes time to eat, I'm not like, oh, I don't have anything. What should I do? What should I cook? No, there's no decision making. It's already done. Like there's food in there, eat that food. So you can make things easier and help yourself with that aspect. So you utilize a pressure cooker, utilize an air fryer, utilize, you know, if you want to meal prep, for example, you don't have to meal prep for the entire week, but do it for a day, do it for 2 days. Like if you know your lunches over the next 2 days, you're gonna be crazy because you're traveling, which we'll talk about traveling here in a second. But if you know that, cool, like take an hour, take 45 minutes, and not even, because again, if you take 45 minutes to meal prep, but in actuality you just fucking season the chicken, whatever it is, put it in the air fryer, let it cook, and you're good to go, like it's actually only 3 minutes, but regardless, take time to plan ahead and help yourself in that aspect. So that's number 5. And the last kind of bonus tip I'd say for anyone who is traveling or who is busy or who might not be home all the time, get a thermos and use that bad boy. That was one of the biggest things that helped me when I used to be an in-person trainer. Was I would have, like, because again, I'd be at the gym from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. right? So I needed food, and I didn't always have time to go to the microwave and heat it up because I was coaching clients. And so what I would do is I would just put my food in a thermos. And then from there, I would have hot, ready to go. I used to have chicken and rice, used to have steak and rice, salmon and rice, whatever. But like I would have food literally in that thermos, hot, ready to go, already made. I would just pull it out and start eating it. So same thing with you. If you're traveling, for example, if you're going on a plane or you're going on a ride or you're taking your family to a trip somewhere, the thermos is a tremendous tool you can use. Like before you go, heat up the steak or cook the eggs or whatever it is, put it in the thermos. It's gonna stay warm, it's gonna stay hot, it's gonna stay good. And then when it's time to eat, just pull the thermos out, man, you're good to go. You can put anything in there. You can put oatmeal, you can put soup, you can put, I did steak and chicken and all kinds of meats. Like it all stayed good. So using a thermos is kind of like a sneaky little tool I think most people forget about. And so I'd say definitely using that to your advantage. So guys, those are the top 5 things. I added extra bonus 6 things. Those are the top 5/6 things. That bird almost flew right into me. To help you get more protein. Hope it helped you. If it did, please feel free to leave a comment below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will chat soon. All right.